Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is the show where we take, well, basically any intriguing source material you give us, and we really dig into it.
Yeah, we try to pull out the most interesting bits, the insights.
Exactly. Help you get up to speed quickly, find those surprising facts, maybe share some of those, aha moments.
And today, we're doing something a little different. We're stepping onto, well, let's just say unsettling ground.
Right. Not our usual academic topic dive.
No, instead, we're going to sort of unravel two really compelling accounts. Unexplained occurrences. Personal experiences, really.
Stuff that sticks with you.
Definitely lingers. These aren't just stories you forget easily.
That's for sure. So for this one, you sent over excerpts from the YouTube channel Mr. Nightmare.
That's the one.
Specifically, two stories, supposedly true horror stories, and they both center around hide and seek, the kids' game.
Yeah, hide and seek.
So our mission today, it isn't just to retell them, we want to unpack them, really look at the unsettling details.
Figure out maybe why they work so well, why they disturb us.
Right. What is it about something you can't see, something unknown, that gets under your skin? Especially when it invades something familiar like childhood games.
That's the core question, I think.
Okay, so let's dive into the first one. This account, it takes us back. The narrator's childhood, weekends at an aunt and uncle's farm.
And the setting itself, like you said, it's almost a character. Big open spaces, yeah. But then there's this other farm nearby, abandoned.
Half a mile away, full of rundown buildings, and of course, stories. Rumors.
Which is fascinating, isn't it? How the environment just loads up the suspense from the start. The narrator mentions the legend.
Oh yeah, the classic haunted house tale.
Man goes crazy, axe murders his entire family, hangs himself, you know the type, returns every night as an angry spirit looking for new victims.
Even as a kid, the narrator kind of suspected it was exaggerated, but
the place itself, the abandoned farm, it made it feel believable, right? That's what they call liminal space.
Oh, it's space.
Liminal, like in between. Neither fully used nor completely forgotten. Abandoned places, thresholds, dawn, dusk. They make us uneasy because they're ambiguous. Fertile ground for fear.
Makes sense. So this liminality, it sets the stage. Then things get really interesting. They decide to play hide and seek.
Of course they do.
And the narrator picks this, flimsy brown barn. But surprise, it had living quarters upstairs.
Which is already a bit weird for a barn.
Totally. Imagine climbing those stairs, finding actual furniture, broken dishes, old clothes, books falling apart, just scattered.
It's not just empty, it's like a life paused, frozen, discarded.
Yeah. And that detail, the personal stuff, that's key, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely crucial. It makes it a home, not just a building. A home with a history, maybe a bad one, something unresolved.
So the narrator finds this small room. There's a closet. And get this, long black dresses still hanging inside.
Oof. Chilling detail right there.
Perfect hiding spot, though. He gets in, pulls the folding door shut. Just a tiny crack of light coming through.
Confined. Sensory deprivation almost. Makes you feel vulnerable.
So he waits and waits. Like an hour goes by, nobody finds him.
No.
He actually falls asleep. Then wakes up, pitch black.
Oh no.
Totally disoriented. Realizes it's night. He's been left behind, forgotten.
That feeling, that sinking dread in the pit of my stomach, as he puts it. We've all felt that sudden isolation, maybe not in a creepy barn, but...
We know the feeling, and this is where it shifts, right?
Yeah.
From just being left behind to actual terror.
Yeah, because the isolation, the dark, the physical discomfort, he mentions a leg cramp.
Right, a sudden cramp in my calf.
That grounds it, makes it feel real. So the question becomes, is what happens next just his fear running wild, or is something else there?
A question that hangs heavy.
Yeah.
Because then the sounds start. A door slams. Downstairs.
Silence first, then the slam.
Then footsteps. Coming up the stairs. But not normal footsteps.
No, described as having a thud, too, after every other step. Slow, heavy, deliberate.
Definitely not another kid.
No way. And they just keep coming up. Using only sound like this is brilliant, it forces your imagination to do the work.
And your imagination is usually worse than reality?
Often, yeah. This is pure auditory terror. The escalation. The thud, silence. Then the walking starts again, but with a sound.
The scraping. The steady scraping sound, like something heavy being dragged across the floorboards.
It's not random noise, it sounds purposeful. Like something or someone has intent. And then the smell.
Oh yeah, the smell. Faintly putrid.
Another sense involved. Makes it even more visceral, more real, even though you can't see anything.
Imagine hearing that constant scrape. He says it sent cold shivers through him. Then the steps reach the bedroom door, stop right outside the closet.
Right in front of him, blind in the dark.
That agonizing pause, just waiting. Before the sounds finally move on, fade down the hall, the tension is just
Oh, wow.
total helplessness. You're trapped in there with him, and the wait afterwards for what seemed like an eternity just stretches out that isolation.
But the real peak, the climax, it's like sensory overload. It really is, all at once.
3 things hit him. Bam. The smell gets intense, like fresh roadkill.
Ugh.
He hears raspy breathing behind me in the dark closet
Behind him, inside the closet.
and feels hot breath against the nape of my neck. That's it. He's out.
Pure flight response. Can't blame him.
He just hurdles himself out, runs on instinct, memory, tiny bits of moonlight.
A total blur, right? Trips and bumps and blind stumbling, and he hears footsteps chasing him.
Closing in fast. Terrifying speed. But then, the reveal.
He bursts out the front door, spins around, and
Nothing. Absolutely nothing there. No footsteps, no chaser.
which is almost creepier, isn't it? That pursuit that just vanishes, makes you doubt yourself, but you know you weren't alone.
So he gets back to his aunt and uncle's, police car, worried parents. Seems like proof something real happened.
But the police searched the place, found nothing, so his story sounds like, well, a story.
Right. Until years later, his cousin drops the bombshell.
Ah, the twist. This is what really seals it.
The cousins had looked for him for hours, but they kept something quiet.
What was it?
They thought they saw him. In the window of the bedroom he was hiding in.
Okay.
But when they got closer, they saw that it wasn't me.
Whoa.
Instead, it was a young boy neither of them recognized, smiling and waving down at them and gesturing for them to come upstairs.
Get out! Seriously?
That's when the cousins ran home.
So while he was asleep, then terrified, in the closet, something else was visibly in the house, seen by others.
Exactly. That external validation. It wasn't just in his head. It makes the whole thing so much more disturbing. A shared something.
Wow. Okay, that first story definitely leaves a chill. The slow build, the sounds, the smell, and then that final confirmation.
Yeah.
Unsettling doesn't quite cover it.
Agreed. Now let's shift to the second account. Similar themes, maybe terror of another presence, but it unfolds differently. More immediate confusion.
Right. This one features a 16-year-old narrator, group of friends. Bit of an age gap between them, but they live in an area with, like, fewer houses, more space.
And their Friday night ritual, manhunt, at Daniela and Nick's house.
Again, the setting is important. Not a typical suburban neighborhood. More isolated. Perfect for a wide-ranging game like Manhunt.
And the hiding spot they pick, Mr. Nelson's old house, vacant for years since he died.
Another classic liminal space. The empty house. It's cliche for a reason, right? It works. It feels inherently creepy.
Totally. So it's the narrator's teen's turn to hide. He and his friend Dan head to the back, near a lake. Find some bushes. Good spot.
Standard hide-and-seek tactics.
But Dan wants to try something crazy. He decides to actually go inside the vacant house. Slips through a window.
Okay, splitting up. Never a good sign in these stories.
Rule number 1. So the narrator waits alone in the bushes.
Vulnerable again. Isolated. The goal is just to get back to base. Nick's house.
He waits maybe 5 minutes. A couple of kids from the other team come into the yard, make some noise, then leave.
Okay, the coast is clearish.
Perfect chance to make a run for it. But before he goes, he glances up at the house windows, hoping to spot Dan, maybe signal him.
Makes sense.
And there he is, upstairs window, his head looking down to me.
So Dan is upstairs.
Narrator waves like, let's go. But Dan didn't move, just staring.
That's weird. The first little off note, dissonance.
Right, so the narrator goes over the window. Dan climbed in earlier, yells his name, and then
Yeah.
I felt like my heart stopped when I heard Dan's voice only a few feet away from me saying, dude, shh,
Wait, downstairs, near the window.
right next to him. So the narrator is like totally confused, asks Dan how he got down so fast.
And Dan?
Just look confused.
Yeah.
Says he was sitting down here this whole time.
Oh, okay, wow. So if Dan was downstairs all along,
Who or what was staring down from the upstairs window?
the realization hits them both at the same time.
Exactly. He says at that same moment, they both just look up towards the ceiling because
Let me guess. Annoyed.
there was a creaking sound coming from upstairs.
Oh, chills. Direct, immediate confirmation. It wasn't just the narrator seeing things. Dan was there, the creak was there. Shared, undeniable proof something else is in the house.
They don't need telling twice. They bail, hop out the window, run, game over.
I would too.
Later, trying to process it, they asked Dan's dad, did someone move in? Is anyone living there?
Trying to find a rational explanation.
But the dad is positive that nobody had lived there for 3 years
Yeah.
since Mr. Nelson passed.
Okay, so no easy answer. That deepens the mystery.
And the dad knew Mr. Nelson well. He actually takes them back inside the house to check.
Back inside. Brave man. Or maybe skeptical.
Probably a bit of both. He checks the specific bathroom window where the narrator saw the face. Flick on the lights.
Nothing.
Room's empty, except for a crumpled up reddish-brown blanket on the floor.
A blanket. That's something, but not a person.
No. They search the whole house, top to bottom, find absolutely nothing.
So no concrete evidence, just that shared, terrifying moment, the visual for the narrator, the sound for both of them.
Leaves it hanging, doesn't it? The dad tells him, you see anything weird again, tell me immediately. Even implies he's a bit spooked himself.
Doesn't blame him.
And the narrator's final thought. I know that Bausigns Dan was in that house that night. Just that certainty.
It's powerful, that unresolved ending. These stories that claim to be true, they often end like that, don't they? No neat wrap-up. Just the experience, a moment where reality felt thin, something else peeked through, and then it was gone, leaving questions.
So let's try and connect these two accounts then. They're distinct, yeah, but the similarities are pretty unsettling.
Definitely. Both involve hide and seek, obviously. Both use abandoned or vacant buildings, those liminal spaces again.
And in both, the scary part isn't just a noise or a feeling. It's the suggestion of another being, present.
And maybe sentient. In the first story, the boy waves. In the second, the figure looks down and there's responsive creaking.
Right. And thinking about why these stories work, why they resonate, it hits that primal fear, doesn't it? The fear of the unknown, especially when you think you're safe or alone.
Exactly. In the first story, the cousin seeing the other boy is just chilling confirmation. It takes it from maybe the narrator's fear-fueled imagination to something potentially objective, shared terror.
And the second one, the creaking, right after Dan is confirmed to be downstairs.
Right.
It creates that instant shared, this is impossible, but it's happening moment for both boys.
It's the terror of the unseen, but verified by more than one person. That makes it feel much more real, much harder to dismiss than just a solo experience.
So it really makes you wonder, where do you draw the line between kids' imaginations running wild, local legends, old rumors, and something genuinely inexplicable?
That blurring is key. These aren't just ghost stories with a clear monster. They're about moments where reality itself seems fragile and the mystery just gets deeper the more you look.
And maybe that's the point. The lack of a neat, rational answer is what makes them so effective, so compelling.
I think so. Were they shared hallucinations? Some kind of collective consciousness tapping into the place's vibe? Or, actual paranormal events that we just don't have the framework to understand?
The stories don't give us the answer. They just present the unsettling possibility.
They thrive on that unknown.
Well, these accounts definitely give you something to think about. Maybe something unsettling to think about next time you're alone somewhere that feels empty.
Yeah, makes you listen a little closer.
They're a powerful reminder, aren't they?
Yeah.
That sometimes the experiences that really stick with us, the ones that disturb us the most, are the ones that just leave us asking questions.
And maybe that's the ultimate chilling thought, that uncertainty. The idea that there are things we just don't understand and maybe never will. That's often scarier than any monster you can actually see.
Thank you for joining us on this unsettling exploration. We hope these stories have given you something to chew on. Maybe look at hide and seek a little differently now.
Maybe.
And hey, if you enjoyed this kind of dive into true horror accounts, or you want more chilling stories, or definitely check out our channel, Horror Docs. Please do like, share, and subscribe. It helps us out a lot.
It does. So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those questions.
Yeah.
And maybe keep the lights on. Goodbye for now.